This is the remix.
The Life of Dad Show.
Remix.
What's going on, everybody? Art Eddie here for the Life of Dad Show Remix. Here in Life of Dad Show Remix, we take past guests we've had on the Life of Dad Show and just put the spotlight with their sharing their thoughts on fatherhood. We're talking with three tough men who've played in the NFL. We're talking with Bruce Matthews, Donald Penn, and Mike Golic. Whether they're on the offensive line or the defensive line, these tough-as-nails players made a name for themselves in the league. I hope you enjoy this week's version of the Life of Dad Show Remix with Bruce Matthews, Donald Penn, and Mike Golic. Enjoy. Hey everyone, it's Art Eddie for the Life of Dad Show and On the Line. I'm very happy to have NFL Hall of Famer Bruce Matthews. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me, Bruce. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Big fan of watching you play in the NFL. Here, we like to get everybody's take on fatherhood. So for you, Bruce, what was the first few thoughts that popped into your mind when you found out you were going to be a dad for the first time?
I don't know that I really grasped how special and how cool a thing it was going to be. And when my son was born, Stephen, our oldest, and it was just, oh my goodness, we are responsible for this little boy. It was the most terrifying, yet the most exciting thing in my life. And my wife and I had talked about it for years while dating, how excited we were going to be to have a family. But until it finally happened, I think the gravity and the impact of it hadn't struck me. And just the responsibility that, you know, I'm accountable for, to some extent, for how this kid turns out and how we're going to raise him and what examples that we're going to set for him and teaching him what's going to be important and how he should treat other people. And it all kind of hit me when he popped out, and it was like, all right, let's go. And it was a little, it rattled our cages a little bit.
Nice. And as your kids were growing up, and as you know, I have two daughters, 8 and 6, and even when they get older, I'm still going to be worrying about them, still trying to parent and help them out. And you're always going to get the, like, I know what I'm doing, Dad, but being a parent never stops. So from the time that they were growing up to now, what are some of the values you look to instill into them?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just being consistent. To go back to football, you can't say, I'm going to go and be the best football player and go and put all the time in preparation, the working out, eating right, taking care of your body and studying your playbook. And then you go into the classroom and, you know, half step there. That isn't right.
Yeah.
I mean, if your standard is going to be excellence, then you be excellent in every area of your life, whether you're going to be the best friend you can be, you're going to be the best son or daughter that you can be, the best husband or wife, and, you know, most importantly, the best parent.
Nice. And last question before I hit you up with a Life of Dad Quick 5. For new dads listening to this, what's like one big piece of advice you'd give to them?
Oh, gosh. There's so much that I thought I knew about parenting. I really honestly thought I kind of had it figured out. Even to this day, there's so much that I learned from my kids, and they're all so different, and they teach us really cool lessons. I think the biggest thing I learned from my kids is how selfish I am, because it was like, hey, this baby, man, he needs all this attention. What about me? What about what I want?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how selfish I was until A, I got married, and then B, when I had our first child. And it was like, my gosh, I'm pretty dang selfish myself. So just be open-minded and pray a lot. It's an amazing dynamic that we're entrusted with these children, and it's a pretty neat thing when you see them and they're growing up and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I had something to do with how that kid developed.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now I got the Life of Dad Quick 5. Do you guys now, obviously with the holidays, you guys all get together? Maybe there's one holiday movie, but maybe in the past, was there like one favorite family movie you guys would all love to watch together?
Well, this time of year it's hard because they're all in their seasons or wrapping them up or across the country and stuff. But specifically holiday movies, yeah, we love the Home Alone ones. And what we used to really enjoy as a family going on vacation was driving to wherever we were going. And we have 7 kids, and we didn't necessarily do it when our youngest was born because a lot of them were starting to get out of the house. But we loved to pack into our Suburban or whatever it was we were driving and watch those family movies, Little Giants, the Back to the Future. It really was a neat time for our family, and this time of year is very special as well, especially now we have 2 grandsons, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I think everyone is told as a parent that, man, wait till you're a grandparent. You're really going to enjoy it. And I was like, yeah, sure, right? And it's so true. It's such a cool thing to be a grandparent. And it's amazing that you can love those babies as much as you love your own kids. And I'm very blessed and fortunate to have been blessed with such a cool family.
Nice, man. Appreciate that. Favorite family song to dance to as a family is?
Oh my gosh, this branch of the Matthews family isn't quite as. This is the Gulf Coast, the Texas version. The left coast is probably, they would be the ones that you would probably get a better answer from us. But man, the kids, whenever there's a family wedding, and it seems like they're coming up every off season now, they'll be out there on the dance floor cutting a rug. So I can't give you a specific one, but they enjoy the time together.
Nice. You kind of mentioned this earlier, but describe the perfect family vacation. Is it when you guys are going across country and going in an RV?
Yeah, and we did the RV thing one time only.
Okay.
We used to have a Suburban with 3 bench seats. So we had 9, how do we work that? It was only when we had 6 kids.
Okay.
So there were 3 in the back, 3 in the middle, and 2 up front. And unless there was a big fight or something, then they'd have to come up front, and that was kind of like the prison seat. But, yeah, we would go, and I grew up going to the beach in South Carolina, and we would drive from Texas and really enjoyed that and did that a number of times as kids were growing up.
Nice. First few thoughts that pop in your head when you found out you were going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Oh, well, I was very proud and very humbled at the same time. And just a little story on my background. You know, I was so honored to have a father that played in the NFL, and he played long before I was ever born. But I was very proud of the fact that he played for the 49ers back in the 50s. And when I was a kid, I was a 49ers fan because my dad had played.
Yeah.
And it was back in the 70s when they weren't as good as when Joe Montana came along. And it was funny because when they became good, it was like, I don't like them anymore. But getting back to the Hall of Fame, a funny story, and my dad's really a card. After all the media and everything had settled down because there was a big rush, and I wasn't in the situation like they do today where they'll fly him into the Super Bowl. I was at home, and I got a call and then took a bunch of phone calls, and a bunch of camera crews came out to the house. Then probably 3 hours after the announcement, my dad called, and you know, I was really excited to talk to him. And I go, Dad, did you hear the news? He goes, what? I go, about the Hall of Fame. He goes, did I make it? And I go, nah, you didn't. He goes, I guess I'm finally out of eligibility. And he started laughing and stuff. But it really was a neat way to kind of cap off and talk to my dad about it. And we just shared that moment. And I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And lastly, was there a season or a game that stands out most in your great career?
Well, I would say a series of games. Whenever I played against my brother Clay, and I was fortunate, our first, through 1993, I believe it was. So 83 to 93, 11 seasons, we would play the Browns twice a year. And then one year we played them in the playoffs as well. For me, that was the coolest thing ever because my brother Clay was my big brother. He was my favorite player. You know, I was a huge Browns fan when he got drafted by the Browns. So as a kid growing up, I was a senior in high school his rookie year. And then when I went to SC, I was still a huge Browns fan. then I get drafted by a team in their division, and I knew all about these guys, and it was like, hey, check it out, man. There's Brian Sipe, there's Tom Cousineau, there's Chip Banks, and it's like, oh crud, man, I got a job to do. I can't be out here like a fan gawking. I got I got to get pissed off and get my mind right. And it took a few games to get used to it, but for me, playing against my brother Clay was the coolest thing, and I really enjoyed the whole week, the whole game preparation week. I basically had to watch every cut of film twice, because the first time I watched it, I'd see what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because the fan in me had to be satisfied. And then secondly, I had to watch, what's my assignment? And it really, there was a fine balance I really had to acquire over the years. And then finally, towards the end, it became a lot easier. But like I said, it was always, and we weren't very good my first few years. So it was kind of like, I used to imagine, this must be what the Super Bowl's like, times 100.
Nice.
So that was really cool.
Appreciate you sharing that. The book is called Inside the NFL's First Family, My Life of Football, Faith, and Fatherhood. You can pick it up wherever books are sold. And, of course, we'll put links here at lifeofdad.com for people to purchase it. Bruce, it was such an honor to chat with you talking about the book, football, and, of course, fatherhood. Continued success with everything you got going on, and I hope a lot of people pick up this book because it's a great read.
Thank you. It was really enjoyable to do, and I hope people like it.
Excellent. Thank you again for the time, and you take care.
You too. Thanks.
What's going on, everybody? Art Eddie here for the Life of Dad show and online. I'm very happy to have Raiders offensive tackle Donald Penn. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me, Donald. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Obviously, you're a dad, and so what are some of the core values you look to instill into your kids as they're growing up?
Right now I just try to make sure they're respectful. They say thank you to everybody, when I'm with my sons, which I always do even when I'm not with them. I hold the door open for, women, and I make them do it too when we're out, and I tell them why, little things like that. And, I try to lead by example. They see what I do. So, I try to make sure, I'm always being a gentleman and stuff. And, I'm going to make sure they're good in school. My 7-year-old, he's been great. He's been on the honor roll last 2 years. So, that's a good thing. And, those are about it, man. I just try to make sure they're very respectful. They listen to their mom and treat people good. But, you can't be on them too hard sometimes because kids are kids. They're going to make mistakes. So you have to know when and when not to.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And what were some of the things that popped into your mind when you found out you're going to be a dad for the first time?
Man, first thing I said, I want to be I want a son. I know that my oldest son, he's Donald the Third. I gave him my name, so I know I definitely want a son, and I did. I got that, but I just wanted to make sure I raised a respectable man. I have 2 boys and a daughter, and make sure I'm not too overprotective of my daughter, so where I hurt our relationship. That's the main concern.
Yeah, no doubt. I got 2 daughters, man, so I feel you. And also, I'm a third as well, man, so I like you carrying on the tradition.
Yeah, I have to. I definitely have to.
Nice, man. Last question before we get into the Life of Dad Quick 5. What advice would you give to some new dads out there?
Be patient. One of the key things I always tell people, if the baby's crying, make sure the diaper's clean, or she's either hungry or he or she's tired. So it's either going to be one of those 3. If not one of those 3, you might need to go to the doctor. The baby might be sick. So that's what I always tell people. When the baby cries, either one of those 3 things. So
nice, man.
You got to have patience.
Yeah.
Definitely have to have patience.
No doubt. Now we got the Life of Dad Quick 5. Do you guys have a favorite family movie?
Yeah, I think it's Finding Nemo, so we can't wait for the next one to come out.
Oh, yeah, Finding Dory?
Oh.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite family song you guys like to dance to right now?
Right now, I don't know. My son's been doing a lot of dabbing to that that designer song.
Yeah.
That designer song, Panda. My son's doing a lot of dabbing to that, so I might have to say that. All
right, cool, man. Describe for you, I know obviously with football you got a busy schedule, but when you do have some downtime, describe the perfect family vacation.
Somewhere on the water, by the ocean, with the pool. We love the water. We love going places where the water is. Either the Caribbean or Hawaii is one of my favorite places.
Nice, man. Very cool. Again, people, make sure you follow Donald over at DPenn70 on Twitter because it's a very cool follow. Not only just football, but a lot of cool family-oriented things. I'm a sneakerhead, so I love the fact that you are sharing pictures of you and your kids wearing Air Jordans. What's your favorite pair of J's?
Oh, man. It's hard. I think the Cement 3s.
Nice. Good choice right there. Nice.
I think those are.
Yeah, man. Nice. And also, too, I almost was going to say you guys like the 14s because I see you guys rocking the different versions of the 14s, which is a great shoe as well.
Yeah, I like that. I love those too.
Nice, man. Nice. And lastly, as an offensive tackle, you're in a select few guys where you have scored a few touchdowns. A lot of, running backs, wide receivers might keep their footballs when they score. Do you keep your footballs when you score a touchdown?
Yes, sir. I have them up in my office. All three of them.
Nice.
Yeah, all three of them. Yeah, I had to put those up high because the kids always run in my office to grab the game balls. Start playing with them. I had to put those up high so I wouldn't lose them. I get them mixed up.
Nice, man. Donald, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate your insight on fatherhood. And again, people, make sure you follow him at DPenn70 on Twitter. And again, really appreciate the time for the chat.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Now we got the questions here for Golic for Life of Dad. We'd love to get everybody's take here about fatherhood. For you, I know your kids are definitely grown up, and I love the fact that you guys both on Mike and Mike in the morning talk about your kids. It's kind of cool, especially for us dads, to kind of relate to you guys as well. So thank you for doing that. But when they were growing up, what were some of the core values you look to instill into them?
Well, I mean, it's the same core values I grew up with and my wife grew up with. I mean, if you want to get somewhere in life, it's going to take hard work. There's no shortcut to success at all. I mean, we were really old school in my upbringing, and my wife was as well with her parents. So, we both had the same values going into our kids, and our philosophy is when we start having kids, 100% is going to be into the kids. We'll support anything they do, get behind them any way we can, and teach them really the value of hard work. Obviously education, but hard work in anything that you want to achieve in an era where we have kind of a microwave society where everything's done kind of quick and sometimes there can be shortcuts that people want to take in life. Kind of teach them that you can't really do that to find success. There can be no shortage of any kind of hard work at all. So we really, really try to instill that value in the kids.
Nice.
Now, going along with the hard work there, when your kids were growing up, you were in the NFL. I can't even imagine how much focus and preparation goes into that on a daily basis, on a yearly basis. How are you able to balance that focus on work, but also time at home with the family?
Well, that's the beauty of it. You do when you're at work, you put your time in at work, and you're there, for a decent amount of the day, 2 to 3 days a week. And the beauty is when you come home, my daughter, Sydney, wasn't born yet until the year after I retired, but Mike and Jake were born in 89 and 90, and I retired in 94. So they were young, but they were old enough where I'd bring them around to the locker room and such like that. But they still didn't really fully grasp what I was doing. So when I came home from a game or a practice or training camp, to them, Dad was just coming home. That was it. And it was great. I was done with work. I mean, that's the one thing I hear people say about pro athletes, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be studying. You should be looking at your next opponent. I say, well, wait a minute. You know what? I know the amount of time I need to spend on my craft, and I'd rather be a full person. And when I have a family, that includes my family as well. So I do my work. I make sure I'm prepared, and then when I come home, I'm with my family. I don't bring my work home. And the boys were at a young enough age where, as I said, they didn't really comprehend a lot of what I was doing, so they just wanted to play with Dad, not Dad the NFL player, just Dad.
Very cool. And last question before we get into Life of Dad Quick 5, what advice do you have for new dads out there listening?
Oh my God, enjoy it. It's one of those things when you give advice, people kind of listen to it, but they're not going to really get it until it happens to them. Because I had people tell me, I had my dad tell me, enjoy it because it goes quick. And he was so right about that. It does go by. So enjoy the moments there. Cherish the moments. I can already see why grandparents, and I'm not one yet, but I can see why they're a little more relaxed with the kids, because when you're a parent and you have that first kid, you're kind of uptight about what they're doing in public, or are they making it, too much noise here or there. At the end of the day, when you look back at it, you know what? Just let them enjoy life. Enjoy life with them. Usually they're not ever doing anything that's too bad out there. So just enjoy the time that you have. Don't take that for granted, because before you know it, they're born, they're walking, they're in school, they're in college, and they're men and they're women. And then they're like, oh my God, where did that go? Because it definitely flies. It's been fantastic with them, and we're a very close family. So we'll be involved, obviously, in their lives all the time, probably more than they want us to be, but they don't have a choice there. But, now you get to the point where spouses will come into play, and then grandkids will come into play. It really just goes. So cherish those moments.
Well said. Great piece of advice there. Now we got the Life of Dad Quick 5. We know you're into movies, especially, with the donut meter rating.
Yep.
Favorite movies change here and there where, the wind blows. But for you guys, what's your family movie of choice right now?
I'm not kidding you. What we loved was Inside Out.
Okay. Nice.
I'm telling you, they do such a great job of making it good for kids. But then there's all us adults, two adults and a 25, a 24, and a 20-year-old, going to a movie like that. But they make it funny for adults as well. It really, really was impressive. And I'm a big movie guy. Mike, my son, and my daughter Sydney are. Jake and my wife, not as much. So, to find one that we all like, and the short before called Lava was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, oddly enough, I pick an animated film. That was something, the last one, where we really were all like, you know what? All five of us said that was a really cool movie.
Definitely, man. And you are a great singer. If people haven't heard you, especially when you kind of sing on the intros when you guys are coming in back from a commercial break or something like that, you have a great voice. A lot of people probably were surprised about that. But maybe back then when they were kind of young and all that, or even now, is there a song you guys kind of if it comes on right now, you guys all dance to as a family?
The one thing that I'm happy about is my kids know the older songs, because we play them a lot in the car. My go-to karaoke song is Brandy. We're big
Yeah.
Eagles fans. That's what I sang at Darius Rucker's concert. I sang "Take It Easy" by the Eagles. So, and you know what? It's amazing. There was the show Glee. Yeah. When it was on, those kids always sang, in the first few seasons, older songs, songs when I grew up. The kids of today thought Glee wrote those songs, and it was great to tell them, no, they didn't. There were actually people in the 70s and 80s that wrote these songs, and it made the 20-year-olds of today actually go back and listen to the original people who wrote some of these songs. So I have to say, my kids are pretty well versed in 70s and 80s music, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Nice, man. Raising them right. I love it. Describe the perfect family vacation.
At the point we are now, that this may sound weird, the point we are now, as I said, 25, 24, and 20, anytime we can get a vacation and we're all there. Yeah. Whether it's going to Costa Rica and hanging out, or going to Aruba and hanging out, or just we have a place in Arizona. If it's just going to our house in Arizona, but we're all there. That's the key at this point, and that's something you try and do, and it's harder to do the older they get. When they're younger and they're living under your roof, it's easy to say, okay, here we go, and we all go for a vacation. They're getting older and they start to have their own lives a little bit. That makes it more difficult. But to that end, no doubt a nice sunny place with a beach and great weather is always a great stomping ground for us. But I'm at the point where if we can get all the kids with their schedule to say, yeah, I can make that, we're happy.
Cool, man. And last two, what team during your playing days did you love to hate when you were playing against them?
A lot of that had to do, I spent most of my career in Philadelphia, and there was a lot of hate for the Dallas Cowboys, and that was Buddy Ryan was my coach. Jimmy Johnson was a coach in Dallas. Those two didn't like each other. So, when you kind of take on the personality of your coach, and Buddy Ryan was a tough guy, Jimmy Johnson was a tough guy. So those were probably the most fights we had, was when we played the Cowboys. And Cowboy week, when we were going to play them, was always a tougher, more hard-hitting week than any other weeks I had. So without a doubt, when I was with the Eagles, it was the most hated team to us was the Cowboys.
Nice. And lastly, when I asked Greeny this about you, he said pretty much everything, and it ticked him off. But again, love your rapport that you guys have together. But name one thing that Greeny does to perfection that drives you nuts.
You know what? And the one other person that I've worked with that I see, and it's amazing, is he's unflappable. I did games with Mike Tirico for college games for a while, and then obviously with Greeny for a long time, and nothing throws them. You know, because you're talking college, it's live TV. You're talking our show is live radio and live TV, so you never know what can get thrown at you. And you're talking 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, for we're in our 16th year of this. He doesn't get flustered on the air. No matter what happens, he's under control. Me, I'll lose my train of thought. I'll stop talking. I'll start tripping over my words. He just keeps it flowing. And that's an unbelievable trait to have, obviously, in this business, to be able to do. Obviously, he's very smart. You know, we joke around a lot. I mean, he certainly isn't athletic, but he is very, very smart. But he doesn't. Nothing shakes him on air. When the light is on and we have to be performing, he's on. He's on, and nothing shakes him.
Nice, man. I really appreciate that. Golic, thank you so much. Continued success with everything you guys are doing, and we all appreciate your take on fatherhood, and keep up the great work.
Thanks.
All right, you guys take care.
Thanks so much for listening to the Life of Dad show. You know where to find us, lifeofdad.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.